Part that it was really worth my time as well as theirs to just walk around and give every single student feedback on whatever part that they were working on. So if I saw a student responding to a question and they did a really good job of explaining something, I would point that out to them and then go on to the next student. I would take just not too long, but just a couple of seconds, definitely less than a minute, to look at what they were doing and give them immediate feedback.
I shifted throughout the year. At the beginning of the year, I had more of a standard check-off rubric. They had to meet all these things, get a certain number of points. As the year went on, I went to a 4-point mastery-based grading system, which helped save me some time because I would focus in on what I thought was the key learning for it and evaluate them 0 to 4 in terms of, well, actually 1 to 4 in terms of demonstrating understanding. So shifting to the 4-point scale for grading helped, but also I had note sheets that I would do my grading on, so for each part of the assessment I would check off whether they were done, and I felt, although I'm not a huge pen and paper person normally, having that in pen and paper was an easy resource for me to flip to see where they were in the assessment.
Things that worked very well was the revision process. If a student did not meet mastery, which was a B- to an A+, 3 to a 4 on the scaled score, they would have to revise their work, try again, go research more, and then I would reassess them and read that again to see if they met that mastery level. One thing that really helped me was having clipboards for each class, roster of my students, and kind of a mastery tracking sheet of where they are at. Are they at part 1? Are they at part 3? And I could leave little notes there as well. So as I was conferencing, I'd go to their table and I'd already know where they were leaving off. Google Classroom was also definitely helpful. I was able to, compile a portfolio for them and also send them comments daily as well. So they could revise something and send it back as a new copy.
I have a hard copy, but I also like to leave comments on Classroom so there's a digital trail just in case I lose track. So I'll sit down with the student, and if it shows mastery, then I have them add a +1 comment, private comment, and then I add it to my score sheet and they can move on. If they need to do revisions, I've been bringing their peer reviews around and writing on that so that they have a note sheet of what they need to fix. And it's been working better.
Sometimes I would just tell part 1, okay, you guys on part 1, I need you to open this up, start working on it in your groups together. It's for part 1, we did it together as a class, but then sometimes you just had students who were behind for whatever reason, and I would have them work on it individually. But then when it got to be that I still had a handful left, I would have to tell them, okay, you guys work on it together. And while they were working on it together, I would go work on getting, say, the part 2 group started, and then I would have to come back over to part 1 and work with them so I could have them work together at the beginning, go help another group get them started. Once they were started, come back over to the part 1 group to be able to work on them more and to get more in depth with them since they were having troubles getting past that part 1.
Well, the mastery grading on a 4-point scale was new, but I think it lends itself really well to the next generation science standards. Over the course of the year, we changed things along the way and became more streamlined. Instead of having them submit everything through Classroom and grading it on the computer, we decided to just grade in class mostly, and look directly at their laptop or their iPad, and then they would upload after they mastered the part of the assessment.
So did that seem to that was more efficient?
Oh, so much more efficient. It's not even funny how much more efficient it became. I don't think there's any other way to do it, or at least more efficient.